Have you ever felt like you are running fast, but getting nowhere? Like, no matter how busy you are, how many hours you work, how many tasks you complete, you still feel behind? Maybe you wake up tired. Maybe your mind never stops racing. Maybe you tell yourself, when things slow down, I'll finally feel at peace. But what if I told you, peace does not come when life slows down. Peace comes when you learn to stand still inside the storm. Stay with me until the very end, because this story will change the way you see stress, control, and the chaos of everyday life. Once, in a coastal town where the ocean roared against dark cliffs and the wind never seemed to rest, there lived a young woman named Elara. Elara was known as the busiest person in town. She worked at the bakery before sunrise. She helped her father repair fishing nets in the afternoon. She studied accounting at night, hoping one day to open her own shop. Everyone admired her discipline. But inside, Elara was drowning. She felt constantly behind. If she rested, she felt guilty. If she slowed down, she felt afraid. She believed something deeply and dangerously. If I stop moving, everything will fall apart. Every day felt like a race against disaster. If the bakery had fewer customers, she blamed herself. If her father struggled at sea, she felt responsible. If her grades dropped slightly, she panicked. Her mind never rested, even when her body did. At night, she would lie awake listening to the wind hit the windows and whisper to herself, I just need to work harder, then I'll feel safe. But the harder she worked, the less safe she felt. One winter evening, a violent storm hit the coast. Boats were pulled from the harbor. Windows were boarded. People stayed inside. But Elara? She ran through the wind toward the docks. Her father's boat had not returned yet. Rain lashed her face. The sea was chaos, waves crashing like mountains collapsing. She stood at the edge of the pier, helpless, heart pounding, staring at the raging water as if she could command it to calm down. Stop, she whispered to the ocean. Please stop. But the ocean did not listen. An old lighthouse keeper named Merrick watched her from the shore. Merrick had lived by the sea for over 40 years. He had seen storms sink ships and storms pass without harm. His face was lined with age, but his eyes were steady as stone. He walked slowly to her side. You cannot shout the storm into silence, he said calmly. Elara turned, soaked and furious. I have to do something. If I don't, everything will fall apart. Merrick looked at the ocean, then back at her. Do you believe the lighthouse controls the sea? She frowned. Of course not. The lighthouse does not stop storms. It does not calm the waves. It does not control the wind. He pointed to the tall tower behind them. It simply stands. Elara followed his gaze. Through every storm, Merrick said quietly, the lighthouse does one thing. It remains steady. It shines. It does not chase the waves. It does not fight the wind. It anchors itself to the rock beneath it. Elara's breathing slowed slightly. You are trying to control the ocean, but you are not the ocean. You are meant to be the lighthouse. Her father returned safely that night. The storm passed by morning, but Merrick's words did not pass. They stayed. For the first time, Elara questioned the belief she had carried for years. If I don't control everything, everything will collapse. Over the next weeks, she began experimenting with something radical: stillness. When anxiety rose, she did not immediately react. She paused. She breathed. She asked herself, is this wave something I can control, or is this the ocean being the ocean? She realized something shocking. Most of her stress came from trying to control things that were never hers to control. The weather, other people's opinions, the economy, unexpected mistakes, time itself. She had confused motion with stability. She thought constant action meant safety, but real stability came from inner stillness. Merrick invited her to the lighthouse one evening. Inside, the walls were thick stone. The wind howled outside, but inside it was quiet. "Feel this," he said. The storm had returned that night, but the tower did not tremble. "It is anchored deep into the rock beneath the sea," Merrick explained. "Storms test it every year, but it does not resist the storm. It endures it." Elara closed her eyes. For the first time in years, she felt something unfamiliar. Not productivity, not urgency, not pressure. Calm. She realized peace is not the absence of storms. Peace is the presence of anchoring. Months passed. Elara still worked hard. She still studied. She still helped her father. But something had changed. When the bakery had a slow day, she adjusted calmly. When a test went poorly, she reviewed and improved. When storms came, she prepared, but she did not panic. People began saying, "Elara has become so strong." They thought she had become tougher, but the truth was different. She had become still. 1 year later, another great storm struck the coast. Boats trembled, waves roared. But this time, instead of running wildly to the pier, Elara stood beside the lighthouse, steady, breathing, anchored. A younger girl from the village ran to her in panic. "What do we do? The storm is too strong." Elara smiled gently. "We don't stop the storm. We stand." My friend, here is the truth that might change your life. First principle: you cannot control the ocean of life. You can only control where you anchor yourself. Second principle: busyness is not strength. Stillness is strength. Third principle: calm is built long before the storm arrives. It is practiced in quiet moments, in breathing, in reflection, in letting go of what is not yours to carry. So today, ask yourself, where am I trying to control the uncontrollable? Where can I choose to be the lighthouse instead of the sea? Stop chasing calm. Start building it. And when the next storm comes, as it always does, you will not be shaken. Not because life became easier, but because you became